right, let's talk a little NBA. Speaking of New York, the Knicks played the Nuggets.
Oh, yeah.
Today, we're recording this on Saturday, and it's going to kind of trickle into a part of a conversation, Channing, that you had on last week's episode when it was you and I. But let's start. Jalen Brunson, 24 points, 116-110, the win for the Knicks over the Nuggets. He had 16 of his 24 in the first quarter. He's missed 5 of 6 games with a foot injury prior to the game versus Denver. New York just 2.5 games back of the Cavs for the number 4 seed in the East. Are the Knicks showing you something? And Richard, the other night you got into not an argument, but basically one-sided when it comes to you guys and your arguments.
You just got yelled real loud.
New York fans, Knicks fans hate themselves, or what was the conversation?
Their expectations are unrealistic.
Can you break this down?
Yeah. No, well, okay, really quickly, then I'll let Channing speak. Basically, this guy was like, hey, you hate us. I'm like, bro, I don't hate you. He's like, man, we winning. And I'm like, with all due respect, you guys are the 5th seed, and you're taking victory laps. Like, have some self-respect, bro. Have some fucking self-respect. Like, you guys are the New York Knicks, and that's the thing. We're not talking bad about you because you're not 12th, you're not making silly moves, you're not doing anything. But we're like, there's no personal shots at the Knicks unless it's joking. But like, they're like, oh, we're winning. Yeah, we won 8 in a row. And it's like, yeah, bro, y'all won 8 in a row and you guys are the 5th seed. Right? That's like, okay, so like, just don't all of a sudden start. That's where I'm saying Knicks fans are so unrealistic with the way they approach it. But their team is great. And I have no problem with people being overly excited about what they got going on. But they were like, oh, you hate them. And I was like, I don't hate you guys. But I will say this to my last part about the Knicks. I really believe that if the Knicks get the Cavs, the Knicks probably will be favored. And that part is a little scary if you're a Cavs fan.
I want to argue with Richard. I just feel like I think it'll be a great series. It's just, for me, I think the Knicks finally have figured out who they are, and that's dangerous. I think Tibbs has finally have a young team that's energetic at the end of a season. He's figured out like how to coach this new generation. He's instilled to them like a sense of culture and like, understanding who you are as a team and what's going to win and what's not. To me, the biggest if in this whole thing is Evan Mobley versus Julius Randle. Now, we've seen Julius Randle ball out during the regular season, but when he gets double-teamed, he becomes disenchanted with the game at times. But now that he is playing
disengaged, not disenchanted, disengaged.
I was like, great word. Where are we going with this?
You like that? I was playing Scrabble the other night, making all type of words up. Jew.
We're in Vegas, and you're in that starter jacket.
Is it not a starter jacket? I had one of those, though. I do have one. Anyways.
Did he say what, Rich?
The Knicks. Did I say what? I said
Nothing.
Like Aju?
I was like
J-U-E.
Aju. Okay.
It's a word.
Okay. It sounded like you said something else, and I was like, really?
Come on,
okay.
Listen, we're not doing that here. I'm not canceling me. Okay, listen. The Knicks are for real. The Knicks are for real.
The Knicks are for real.
They have to stay healthy. I'm a little cautious, not only about Julius Randle when he gets double teamed, because it is coming. Also, like, whether this is little or big, Mitchell Robinson has been putting stuff out about like his involvement in the offense. So if your starting center is disgruntled, that transfers over to the playoffs. Like, everyone has to be locked in. If you have one guy that's like, man, I want to get out of here, subconsciously, is he going to dive on the floor for that ball? Is he going to like go all out for his teammates? He's going to play basketball, but he's not going to be fully invested. Now, in the playoffs, the teams that have the best chemistry, that are fully invested, usually win series. Because when things get tough, you got to lock in even more. You have to hone in even more like a sniper. And when you have something else, when you're worried about contracts or, am I going to be here next year, or I don't like the coach, or I don't like this player, you're going to see that even more. And I think, not to change the subject, I think that's what happens to the Warriors on the road. When things get tough, their chemistry is not anywhere near as what it was the last 9 years. So for me, the Knicks, that is something they need to address if they want to go to the second round.
Rich, you agree?
Yes, but Mitchell Robinson, like with all due respect, like he's a big piece of what they do. He gets them so many second chance points. He protects the rim. He's a role guy. But I just don't like. I haven't seen enough of his game that could tell me he can move up the priority level on the offensive end. I
Totally.
haven't seen enough of that. So, and I'm not going to knock him. I think he can change, but it's like right now he's in a Clint Capella, DeAndre Jordan, which these guys are important
Totally.
pieces to very good teams and have been over the course of his career. So that's when we talk about like doing your role and doing it with enthusiasm. If he's making statements about, again, I haven't seen the statements, so we're going off Channing. So please, God, help us. If you're making statements about your level of offensive involvement, it's like, look, DeAndre Jordan's making like DeAndre Jordan's involvement in their offense needs to be a priority. Mitchell, he needs to keep doing what he's doing at an extremely high level because that's what's going to make their team the most successful. It might not be the most for him. It might not lead to the most points. It might not lead to the best stats for him. But I think that would lead to the most success for the team, and that's what's most important.
Before we move on from the Knicks, what is a successful season for the New York Knicks this year?
I think they've already had it.
Second round.
What?
No, second round.
You're
Second round.
drunk.
Second round.
Your first
No, a
what
successful
team?
season.
Who are they
They're
beating in the
playing
first
Cavs,
round?
who
I know,
the
but
I'm saying they
season-
could be
Stop.
4-5. They
Richard,
could be 4-5 versus the Cavs, bro. First of all, no. How about this?
Take it
How about
7
this?
games
Who would
to the
be
first
best
round.
player? Really quickly. Who would be the best player in the Cavs versus Knicks series?
Donovan Mitchell.
Best. Who would be the second best player?
Jalen Brunson.
No, Julius Randle. We're just
Who would
talking
be the third best player?
Darius
No,
Garland.
just who would be
Darius
the third best?
Garland.
No, I think Brunson.
Okay.
How is Brunson not up there?
Brunson. If you go look at his
Brunson,
numbers.
Yeah. Oh, it's not just numbers. Let's
Okay,
go
no,
by
no, but
eye test.
you can make-
I'll give you
but
that.
you can make it-
make
but
an
you can-
exception. Yeah, Jalen
No, but
Brunson's
you can-
having a
okay,
better year than
listen.
Darius Garland. Correct. So it's
Channing, you can make an argument. You can make an argument for either one. The point that I'm trying to make is there is a probability in which the best player is Donovan Mitchell, the next best player is Julius Randle, the next best player is
Jalen Brunson.
Is Jalen Brunson, right? And so it's like they could have two of the top 3 players in that series. To me, that gives them. So then that means that the players that have to play well are the Darius Garlands, are the Jared Allens, are the Karis LeVerts in order for the Cavs to exceed in that series because they've got 2 of the top 3 players on the Knicks.
That's right. But once 2
That's
and 3,
what I'm saying. So they
then
can
4,
win
5,
that
and
round.
6
They
are
can
the
win that round.
Cleveland. 4, 5, 6 is Cleveland. No offense to anyone on the Knicks. In my opinion, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, and 6 are all Cleveland. Now, Julius Randle's physicality, I think Jalen Brunson's ability to – Donovan Mitchell is going to have to spend as much energy offensively as he is defensively unless they put Isaac Okoro on Jalen Brunson and switch all that. But then who's guarding R.J. Barrett, his aggressive ass going left? So to me, I think this is a great matchup. But anytime that Evan Mobley and Big Fella can be in the game, it's going to limit their touches. And the Knicks aren't a great three-point shooting team. They're solid. They're way better than they were last year, and not even in the same stratosphere. But in the playoffs, if you need a bucket and you got Evan Mobley and Big Fella, Big Afro Thunder down there, right? Like you're not going to get as many paint looks. And then if you're double teaming, where now the guy who averages 26, 27 points has to turn to a passer, now you have to swing to who are they swinging to on the Knicks?
Mm-hmm.
No, Channing, I'm
Right.
just saying that when we break that down,
Right.
that Cavs would have 1, Knicks would have 2 and 3,
Right.
Cavs would have 4 and 5.
And 6.
In those spaces, I start to look at that and say, like, look, as hard as the Knicks play, low pace game, low pace scoring.
That is true.
I'm just saying,
true.
if the Knicks could win that series.
Absolutely.
If you said that if the Knicks beat the Cavs in 6 or 7, nobody's mind would be blown.
No, true.
So that's what I'm saying. The way the Knicks are playing, they've been balling the second half of the season. Only thing I'm saying for them, it looks like their matchup is the Cavs. You want me to tell you what makes the Knicks season successful? I would say if they were to finish the season strong, be 4 or 5, because that's where they're going to be slotted, win that first round, because get up to 4, have home court. If they lose to the
Oh,
Knicks, if they lose to the Cavs and they have home court, that's an unsuccessful season. If they have a similar record and they beat the Cavs and they don't have home court, that's a successful season. So that's my answer.